rejoice and tell people how good you are to forgive me. And I ask for your Spirit living in me to change my pattern, to change my motives, to change my actions. And I want to testify to that too, in Jesus' name. Dare try another one. This one is just for the women group. Men, you don't have to participate. This one is about feelings.
Because I know I don't get
Females, maybe you can coach the men. Okay? You can coach them. We'll only take about 5 or 6 seconds to talk about this one, and then we'll move on to something important. No, we're going to take longer. I'm teasing you. I'm teasing you. Males do have feelings. Males do have feelings. Sometimes it's hard.
Because it's my internet, because they're
well, this gives us a chance.
And it's between talking with the internet.
Perfect. The feelings I find most difficult to express are,
I guess, feeling of affection.
Feeling. And for some people, it's something like love.
Yeah.
And love is more than a feeling, but it includes feelings. For some people, it's an angry one. I find it difficult to express my anger without just or something. Okay. The feelings I find most difficult.
Go further. If I express, if I want to express affection, it may come out awkward. Yeah, that's my idea. Thank you.
Also,
What? You're the cameraman.
see how the is at an angle,
Yeah.
but it's not at an angle, or it engagements at the other angle. Just flip. What happened?
I changed it because the camera is moving.
Oh,
I guess this is better than the camera all.
that's true.
We got some chattery people downstairs.
That's all right. This is fine.
There we go. That's my bad. It's still, we can say it's perspective.
And time. We have one more cue to do with faith. Faith. So let's see what our first one's going to be. By the way, if you have trouble with the roll of the dice, it's difficult. Isn't it? Yeah. That's how the tribes in Canaan were settled.
Yeah.
They cast lots to decide which tribe was going to end up where. Okay, ooh, here's a good one. I put my faith into action by, it's one thing to say I have faith, but how do you put it into action? I put my faith into action by, how would you finish that sentence? I'll give you at least 60 seconds. I put my faith into action by, go ahead.
When I try to express my faith with other faiths, and try to say that I believe it's not easy for me to say it. It's like not really. I just try to trust God. I think that's
there were times when you have God has provided you with a nice person family, just, and there's a lot of challenges per se and test your faith.
All right, we're going to do one final one, also on faith. Also on faith. By the way, my thanks to Brad Forbes, the Admin Source, who brought all these resources, including this ready to roll thing. You may have noticed that some of them were superficial. We talked about fun kinds of things, then we moved on to medium kinds of things. Now we're in deeper topics. And here's another faith one. It would be easier to trust God if it would be easier to trust God if how we can finish that. Go ahead.
Oh man. Wow. Question. I am dumbfounded. It's like I knew my prayers would be answered as like the same. Yeah. I'm trying to think of something. Because let's see like a tough prayer get answered.
And time. So you stay in your group.
But
I'll say a few things up front here, and then we'll turn it back to your group to discuss something else. If you want to take a look at the cues, I'm just going to leave them up here on the organ. And you can look at them. I was asked to come here to get some training on youth Sabbath. Some of you are youth Sabbath school leaders, some of you are not, but maybe become youth Sabbath school leaders, and some of you will never be youth Sabbath school leaders. I think what I talked about applies to all ages. All ages. So you can take the statement on the screen that says, why have a youth Sabbath school? And if you're not involved with youth Sabbath, we'll just drop the word youth. And say, why have a Sabbath school? Why have a Sabbath school? And there are different reasons for it. One reason is to give religious instruction. Isn't that a good reason to have Sabbath school? Another one say to study the Bible. Other people will say, well, we do it for fellowship. Somebody will say, well, better than doing nothing, isn't it? Well, the pastor wants us to do this.
For a sermon.
Mike Edge, good to see you here, your conference president. The conference president told us he wants us to do this. So that's why we have another reason is leadership training. One of the reasons some people have a youth Sabbath school is they have immature adults who will not go to the adult Sabbath school. So they just keep going to the youth Sabbath school because they never grew up.
Oh. Okay. You have it on each before, yeah.
Right.
Try to.
Some say to connect young people to God.
But it's this one, right?
I'm going to give you 45 seconds back in your group for you to discuss what would be a good reason to have Sabbath school. Whether it's for the youth, for the children, for the adults, why have Sabbath school? And you might come up with more than one answer, but actually I'll give you 60 seconds. Yeah, let's flourish. In your group, 60 seconds. What are the reasons to have Sabbath school? Go ahead.
There you go.
Awesome.
We need to open the blinds. It's really dark in here.
I think they probably are doing that for the
Projector. There's no sun. Maybe like the 6 once closer.
yeah. Yep. Who's not talking?
Okay. After this.
All right, let's find out some of the reasons. It could be your reason or just somebody in your group said a reason. Who's willing to share a reason? Yeah, you stretch your arm. What's going on? That's a better one.
Okay, I think that the principal reason for us is because it's like a school. It's a place that you can go and learn things about God.
It's Sabbath school, so you can learn about God. Yeah, on Sabbath. Thank you. What are the reasons here? Same answer. Sabbath school, learn about God.
Also, it broadens your perspective. You think you have the right answer all the time, you find people who have better answers that more close to what you think are right. So it broadens your perspective.
Raise your hand if you're really happy to be part of a certain Sabbath school that you're in. Be sure to tell the people in there. You can let them know God speaks through you to me.
We school being good for a place for you to be social with one another as young people, studying the Word of God together, being vocal about it. Sometimes you don't have much of a way to let out or to talk about God other than family members, which is different because you're with your family. But when you're other young people who are being vocal and sharing what they know about God. So,
Young people to interact with other young people, not just their family, and talk about otherwise. Is that what you're talking about? Good. We have a response back here. Why have Sabbath school?
It's important for me because as an elderly, for me, being older, I'm learning through the youth. We learn from each other as we teach each other. As elderly, we are learning a new
How in the world can somebody younger than you teach you anything?
because they are learning through us and the things that we learn, we can learn from them as well as they can learn from us.
Okay. I'm getting older every year. I don't know about the rest of you. Every year I get older. I skip a couple of years, but most years I get older. And each year I get older, it's harder for me to accept what somebody younger has to say. Which means every year there are fewer and fewer people who God can reach me with. So, if that is your orientation, hear the word of the Lord. The way of the world says someone who's older has more experience and therefore is smarter. So if you are younger, be quiet, you have nothing to offer. That's the way of the world. Okay? As you get older, you move higher up some ladder, whatever it is. The higher up you are, the more important the things you have to say. According to Scripture, it's not your age that matters. It doesn't matter how old, how young, or how middle age. Age is irrelevant. What matters is, do you have a message from the Lord? Well, of course I do. You can't be my age without having received a message from the Lord, right? Let me just tell you 3 words. Repeat after me. Remember? Balaam's ass. Did you just say that?
Say it again.
Say it again. Remember Balaam's ass. Do you know what an ass is? It's a donkey. Yeah, what were you thinking? Oh, you were thinking something else. Okay, well, I'm just going with the biblical example, okay? And I mention this because someone like me is sometimes tempted to think that God can only speak through me. And that's when I need to remember who God speaks through. Who does he speak through? Well, he spoke to Balaam's ass, he can speak through me too. What if I'm a young person and I'm around people who don't want to listen to what I have to say? In fact, I don't think I have anything to say. I better not say anything. If that's what you're thinking, you also need to remember Balaam's ass. Why? Because if God can speak through an ass, he can speak through you as well. I am not making this up. This is right in the book of
Judges.
Numbers.
Oh, numbers.
Okay, that was extra lesson for today. If I ask young people, what is the purpose of youth Sabbath school? Here are the reasons I get from them. And I mention this because I think it's important for you to have a reason, but you also need to ask, is this the reason for the young people? Let me do this. When I ask young people, why have youth Sabbath school? The number one reason that keeps coming up from young people, and that is friends. Is that why you have Sabbath school? Oh, I'm sorry, let me baptize it. Fellowship. It's a similar thing, isn't it? Friends. Second reason, fun. Is that a reason to have Sabbath school? I went to Sabbath school and we started having fun. I said, wait, I thought this was Sabbath school. We can't have fun. Don't forget the word school is in here. Friends, fun, and here's the third reason to go here. Food. Because some Sabbath schools actually have snacks and food right there. Because since when did young people start eating?
There's more stuff there.
Since 2 minutes ago?
I don't know
And
the
2 minutes
password
from
though.
now?
Me either, yeah.
Friends, fun, food. Does that match your reasons to have a Sabbath school?
Or we have a.
Oh, wait.
Do we have something?
If it's just friends, fun, and food, let's not meet here. Let's just meet at Starbucks. There is a fourth reason that young people have for Sabbath school. Because they know about Starbucks and they want something more. The fourth reason is they want faith. They want some kind of connection with God. And they expect that by coming to Sabbath school, there should be something that connects them to God. Otherwise, they would just go to Starbucks. But they want more than what Starbucks can offer. So there's nothing wrong with friends or fun or food. But make sure you have faith as part of your Sabbath school. Notice that we have been talking about our own faith today, right? But we didn't start with that. Why not? Because if you start with something that is deep and personal, I'm sorry, I'm not warmed up. So what I will say is cliches. I'll say the things that everybody always says, but it's really not in my heart. So I'm going to start off talking about silly little things by rolling the phone dice. I'm going to do silly little things like, I'll do those kinds of things that are fun so that I can start getting to what's really inside of me. And I will share with the people around me after we have broken the ice. And we start listening and trusting. But if we all we ever did was go to Starbucks. We may start with that other stuff here, but we're going to faith. Okay? All right. Well, did you know that in the Seventh-day Adventist Church, here's your Adventist Church history, when did we start to have a Sabbath school quarterly?
Ooh, late 19th century.
That is, we're going to have a lesson study from the Bible. Do you know when it started?
1880s?
1880s. Good guess. It started before this building was built. 1852. 1852. The person who started it was a guy named James
White.
Youth
Instructor.
And that was the start of Sabbath school in the Seventh-day Adventist Church. And there was one purpose for Sabbath school: Bible study. Later on, adults started having Sabbath school. But it started with youth. That was 1852. In 1885, there was a department called the Sabbath school department. And this department said, we're going to come up with a second reason. In addition to Bible study, another purpose for Sabbath school is world mission. That is, we want to hear the story about what God is doing not only here, but also outside of here. We're going to have a mission story, and we'll collect an offering to help the message of God spread to other parts of the world. Two purposes: Bible study, world mission. In 1944, about the time the Adventist Church bought this building, a third purpose was added, and that is soul winning or evangelism. A purpose of Sabbath school is to bring other people into the church. Did you know that?
Yes.
So we have Bible study, world mission, and soul winning or evangelism. And then in 1978, you're alive in 1978, a fourth purpose was added. A fourth purpose. And that was already mentioned: fellowship. Fellowship. So if you're looking for some kind of purpose for Sabbath school, I can give you four right there: Bible study, world mission, soul winning, and fellowship. How would you prioritize them? What would be your first one? What would be your second? Your third? I have found few people can give me even one purpose for Sabbath school. I don't know. Haven't we always done it? No, it started in 1852. Why don't people come? Well, I'm not even sure why we haven't. So that would just be coming out of habit, right? Or coming because somebody makes you come. We have reasons. We may not know what they are, but we have reasons. I'm saying identify the reasons. Did you know that in 1926, the Seventh-day Adventist Church had more Sabbath school members than we had church members? There's an Andrews University doctoral dissertation that estimates 1/4 of the Sabbath school members actually attend Sabbath school. Why don't? There could be multiple reasons. I'm going to say one possibility is we don't know why we're even doing this. So why come to something we don't even know why we're doing it? Another reason could be if we know why we're doing it, it doesn't match the reasons I want in my life. That is, it might be I don't want to study the Bible. So why would I come to a Bible study when I don't want to study the Bible? I do want food. So I'm coming for the food. You got me. And guess what comes with the food? Bible study. I'm coming for the fellowship. But in the process, I find out there's a bigger world than just my fellowship. There's a whole world where God is active. So make sure that your purposes are godly and reach your target. Okay, one last thing in your group. Remember the group that you were talking with a little while ago? I want your group to come up with the top purposes you think you should have for Sabbath school. If you can't think of any purposes at all, I gave you 4, right? I gave you more than 4. But I gave you the official ones from the Adventist Church, which were Bible study, world mission, soul winning or evangelism, and fellowship. You can choose any of those purposes. I also gave you the 4 for young people. Friends, fun, food, and faith. I'm going to give you 2 minutes. So ready to throw your ideas out there? What do you think should be the main purposes for Sabbath school? And go.
Downstairs says the fellowship hall has no video, no feed.
Fellowship hall?
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever broadcast.
Yeah. We watch. Yeah, normally when they're preparing fellowship dinner.
Well, we're live streaming.
Oh. Okay.
So if you have internet, you can
Oh.
get the live stream.
Yeah, I don't know if there's good internet down there, but okay.
I don't know how it hooks up to.
Yeah, it's plugged in and everything. Yeah, I don't know. I know not.
I've never been involved in the connection since we years. And everybody who is mysteriously gone at the moment.
Oh, 30 seconds. 30 seconds.
Where's the pastor?
That's what I am wondering. Well,
I'll look around the back.
And time. On the screen, you have the 4 that I mentioned, the fellowship. You may still experience a Sabbath where you start off with a thing called song service. And song service is when one person is up here singing and everybody else is sitting in the back listening. And Then you have a thing called the superintendent's remarks, where somebody found a poem or something that is meaningful to them, and they say it, and nobody's listening. And then you have a mission story and an offering, and after that, comes committed. And then you might have a special feature. And then whatever time is left, you have a lesson section. Are you familiar with that model? In the year 2006, which is 12 years ago, the General Conference Sabbath Department said, we're letting go of that. We're no longer saying this is the way you need to do it every Sabbath school. Instead, we're telling you these are the four main purposes. You decide how you want to do that. You decide if you want to do 5 minutes of fellowship or 50 minutes of fellowship. You decide if you want 1 minute of Bible study or 59 minutes of Bible study. You decide how you want to mix it up, okay? Keep it in mind that not everybody is always there right at 9:30. You might give priority to the first 15 minutes, and only a few people get it. So they understand that's the priority to be there. Okay. We've come to the end of Sabbath. I'm not able to take this back home with me, so I need to find somebody to give it to. Raise your hand if you have heard of the book Steps to Christ. Oh, a lot of you have heard of that. Okay? Raise your hand if you've actually read the book Steps to Christ. Oh, a lot of you have. Raise your hand if you've never read the book Steps to Christ. Okay. I'm going to have to give this to somebody who has never read the books. I'm so glad you guys just showed up now. You're just in time. Do you know what this book is about besides being a gift? No, you just want the gift. Jesus has lots for you. Lots of gifts for you. I'll tell you what it is. This is the book Steps to Christ. There are 13 chapters in the book Steps to Christ. But it's not the kind of English that most of us speak, because it's more than 100 years old. So this has been paraphrased. And the paraphrase now takes each chapter and breaks it into little 2-page sections, so it's for devotions each day, with a question and a prayer prompt. So I'm going to ask the two of you to come forward, and the two of you choose who you want to give this to. Okay? Gets that. Now, other people wanted a gift just like you did. And my thanks to Brad Forrest for making this available at Heaven's Source. Let's pray. Lord Jesus, you have your purposes for us. May our purposes line up with yours. In Jesus' name. Amen. All right, thank you, Steve.
Well,
How many of you were blessed this morning? How many of you are going to go along today and have to make a new friend? You may.
See that
There's that was cool word, right?
I
All
don't
right,
know if
now
I'm
we
with
will
because we don't use it
dismiss
up
for a few minutes. You can get up,
Oh, well,
stretch,
instead of the
go
USB.
outside for a jog,
Yeah.
take a different plate, whatever you. I don't have mine right now.
Okay.
We'll come back at 11.
See if I can find it.
Happy Sabbath.
That was up to my sister. They didn't do it. They get up there and they forget that.
Get signal, get signal.
Yeah, I don't have like that. I only have that HDMI.
If you get somebody to.
Yeah, so just the people reach out to me. I think that's where it's easy. If you can reach them, I guess you guys can. I'm gonna try this one up now, but I don't know. That's really
Maybe got this perspective. Can we get the speaker asking if we can how many? Okay, right now we have like 20 PowerPoints. How many things are we doing? I have no idea. So it's 6 sections. But he has his different, and the speaker has his different, and the praise team has theirs different. I never put it all together. You want to put it on him, or you want him to put it on himself?
When it starts, I want you
So, man, is he good?
Two. Exercise.
Estás bom?
Good.
Yeah, they don't have that. We have the book like this chart. I guess it's we should have
Or we should have five.
so yeah.
Yeah, I just well, actually,
Happy Sabbath, everyone.
next time.
What a beautiful experience being in God's presence today. Oh, for a live stream?
We do have a few announcements to make.
I know you can.
The first and the most primarily for our guests. So we're going to ask if our guests would help us. And as soon as we're finished, we're trying to get finished by about 12:15. We're giving you the priority to go through our lines, and I know we'll have some wonderful food there. So we thank you for being here, and we hope that this experience will be a blessing for you. Secondly, we have some business to deal with as a local church.
Use it sparingly.
We have a second group for membership for the Bryant's. They'll be transferring from our church.
Is this all right?
Shepherd, so we're the second reading for Audra, from the Central Seventh Adventist Church to this house in Wausau, Wisconsin. Is there a motion that we approve that?
Nope.
It's moved.
Just checking in. to see.
Is there a
Okay, we're
second?
gonna do that.
Second, any questions?
Okay.
No questions?
They have
Those
the,
in favor say aye.
signs up there. We don't have
Those opposed? Those carried. We're going to ask you to look through your bulletin at the other announcements that we have here. Tomorrow, we will have here and we'll also be having a baby shower. Yes, finally, I'm right. I will get it right eventually. So tomorrow afternoon, we will be having a baby shower here for Emily and Kai, and we are looking forward to that. Wanted to bring your attention to the program that we have for today. It's pretty packed. As you can see, we're planning on going all 6 p.m. We're looking forward to that will be given to us. Have you been blessed so far? Amen. I'm happy you have been blessed.
Yeah.
We apologize for those of you who didn't get the proper sweets last night. Somebody got it. One person. Wow. My jokes are getting better now. One person. And we know that today, hope that today will be a sweeter experience for you. One other thing, we were supposed to do a baptism today during our main service. We are not going to do that, which means we have more time to focus on the program. But there will be a baptism this afternoon at 6 p.m. With our current group that worship.